Welcome to Silk Road Nexus Conversations. My name is Nikhil. I am privileged to have Ita with me today, who is the CEO of Veho, which is the national carrier disrupting the entire logistics industry at this point in time. Ita, thank you for doing this with me.
Thanks for having me here.
And if you could please introduce very quickly about yourself and Veho to the customers.
My name is Ita, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Veho. Veho is a delivery platform that helps e-commerce brands provide an incredible customer experience with every delivery. So we take care of the entire delivery experience all the way from the distribution center of the brands that we work with to the customer door. And our focus has always been around the customer experience. Customers who receive the box from Veho have full control over their delivery. They can communicate with customer support in real time, can leave instructions for the drivers, they can reroute, reschedule their deliveries. And then if there's any issue, they can troubleshoot in real time. Really what we're going after is proving the delivery should not be an afterthought. It should be part of the customer journey, and the better delivery experience results in a higher customer lifetime value. So we've been doing this for companies almost 10 years old now, today in 65 US cities, working with some of the top, household brands in the United States and growing very fast.
Awesome. And I know you said a lot of big brands, which are Lululemon, Exotica, Saks, Adidas, I believe as well. And I think when you work with these brands and any other brand for that matter of fact, trust is very important. Ida, what is your mantra for trust? How do you define it? And what is one KPI that you use to measure trust?
Well, the first thing we do with brands is educate them about how we think differently about logistics. And I want to explain that, but also, obviously, the education is not good enough to build trust. You have to live up to the high standards you're setting for yourself every single day. That's where trust really matters. But the education matters too, right? When I started Veho, it was important for me to reframe the conversation from logistics as a cost center to logistics as a value center. Think about it. You're spending a certain amount of money, and in delivery, usually it's the second largest line item on the e-commerce company's P&L.
Yeah.
So you're spending a lot of money. What are you getting in return for it? When you compare two different delivery providers, does one reduce your incoming customer calls, customer complaints, refunds, credits? Does a certain provider allow you to increase your customer retention, customer lifetime value? That is what I mean by return on shipping. So what we do with the brands that we work with is we basically frame the conversation about how can we help you improve your own business goals, not just cut shipping costs, and not maybe one of them, but improve your own strategic business goals. What metrics are you optimizing for? Is it net promoter score, customer lifetime value, etc.? And we hold ourselves accountable to those metrics. Then there is execution. We are extremely focused on providing a high on-time delivery with a high customer satisfaction. We look at these metrics every single day. We hold ourselves accountable. We held weekly calls with our clients. We exchange data, deeper data QBRs. We go very deep. We get feedback. And look, ultimately, trust can only be built if you live up to the expectations you set for ourselves. We set a very high bar for ourselves. When we're not there, we're not always perfect. We take accountability. We'll compensate, reimburse. We want to make sure that the brands know that we see ourselves as their extension to the end customer. And if you don't do that, that's not good enough for us. And that's how we are able to provide that every single day with that level of seriousness around this.
No, that makes absolute sense, because when you look at cost center, which has been the mindset in the retail industry for a very long time, for logistics, it's like a back-end service, and you basically just hand it off to a legacy carrier and hope that everything goes well and that your customer doesn't call you back. How does that conversation actually go? Because the mindset is still like logistics is a cost center for a lot of these companies. What is that convincing power that goes in to say like, okay, it's not a cost center. You talked about value through ROIs, through multiple levers that you can pull, but it's still the mindset. Like, how do you change that mindset, or is it changing right now?
First of all, it's changing on its own. I think more and more companies are starting to realize they should think more strategically about their logistics as a value creation center. And by the way, this doesn't come from Veho per se. I think Amazon has really shaped the way e-commerce companies think about their delivery as a way to increase conversion on a checkout page, as a way to delight the customer, to create customer loyalty. We just tell that story and we bring our own data to do that. But, let's say somebody comes to the conversation, they're not convinced. Well, we show them case studies, but we also do another exercise that is really interesting. It's called the return on shipping calculator. And basically what this means is we ask them to say, well, how much do you spend per month with a certain provider, a carrier that you have out there? How many customer calls do you get, complaints? How many of those packages have been lost or stolen? And how many of those packages arrive, but they arrive late? What does that cost to your retention when they arrive late? And we build basically a spreadsheet that calculates all these adjacent costs, or I would say hidden costs, the shipping managers don't always think about. And we compare it one by one versus Veho's metrics. And what would it cost you to work with Veho? On-time delivery, number of packages get stolen or lost or whatever that is, customer service calls. Also apply, the factor of retention. If you're able to get it back on time, delivered on time, will the customer then keep on buying from you? And then you bring all those numbers down to a number per package. And again, that is nice in theory. Not everybody buys into it.
Yeah.
They have to see it in their own eyes. So usually they launch a pilot with us. We'll ask them to hold us accountable to certain metrics and compare us with other providers so they can see. And then usually what happens is that we launch in 3-4 markets. They see that this is far better than what they expected. And then they go and grow with us everywhere. That's how we've been very successful so far.
Makes sense. And I think one part of trust that I would also like to kind of ask you about, and this has been one of the questions that I have taken a survey on LinkedIn and other platforms as well. And this survey had close to 5,000 responses. My question was, would you trust a gig driver versus a professional driver making a delivery for a luxury product? So my question was specific to luxury. And the answers were heavily skewed in the direction that they would want a professional driver making the delivery.
Yeah, that's understandable.
How do you then change the mindset? It's not now only the brands, it's also the customer buying from that brand has that mindset that if I buy from it, I want a professional delivery service. So how do you counter that shift in the customer's head as well as the brand who's selling to the customer?
Well, one thing to remember, and I'll answer your question directly, but one thing to remember is that for years and still today, Amazon uses gig economy to deliver packages. I think we can all agree that Amazon is a premium delivery service in the United States. Consumer typically 99% of the time doesn't even know that it arrives from a crowdsourced driver. And by the way, if we are, what is the most expensive or the most valuable thing in our life? It's ourselves, it's our families. Would you take your family on an Uber? The answer is yes. So the problem is not really with the gig economy driver.
Okay.
The challenge is with the technology, the visibility, and the accountability. When you don't have technology to hold the driver accountable to a high level of standard or to track and trace, then we all defer back to, the old system that we learn to trust over time. But when technology is there, technology can not only make the crowdsourced driver, the gig economy driver, just as good as somebody who's been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah.
They can actually make it better. And the reason is that now you have a carrot and stick approach, if you will, right? Customers get to rate a service. Drivers want to drive on the platform. Drivers have to, to be able to be compliant with certain metrics. And if they don't hit the metrics, they don't get the opportunity to drive. Through technology, we have visibility across the board. Anything goes wrong, we're able to catch it right in real time, right? So again, all that is a nice story. It comes down to the data. We work with some of the top brands in the country. And what they're saying is that Veho has the highest on-time delivery rate in the country. Customers are happy. I think ultimately that's what matters. It's not really what the driver is, but what is the product and the result of the delivery that we're so obsessed with.
Makes sense. And just because we are on the gig economy and we are talking about drivers a little bit over here, I know you have close to 120,000 drivers in the gig model working for you. There is a lot of criticism that happens about the gig industry in general. How do you think this particular industry, gig driving industry, can be made better for drivers? What are your thoughts on that? So it's more a general question, not specific to Veho, but I just want to capture your thoughts around this.
I think about delivery or ride sharing or any work you can do, on a flexible basis as a product. All right, so when you go to a store, I used to be a brand manager before I started Veho, so I understand this pretty well. You can buy Pampers, or you can buy Huggies, which is a different type of I'm saying Pampers because I was brand manager of Pampers. And these are different products. For an individual looking for a work, they're thinking about all these platforms as a product. And what we're trying to do at Veho is build a better product for the driver. So let's talk about the specifics. When you're an Uber, it's on demand. You don't necessarily know how much money you're going to make during that day. You're also driving passengers around. There's always at least from a perception standpoint, a little bit of a risk with another person who's sitting behind you, you don't know them, you're driving at night, etc. When you're doing food delivery, as an example, that's tough. You got to wait in line in the restaurant. They may not be ready on time. You got to hustle away, you know. And again, you don't know how much money you're going to be making.
Yep.
If it's a rainy day, a lot of people order a lot of food online. You're making good money. If it's sunny outside, people go out, you're not necessarily making a lot of money. We changed the way drivers look at gig economy.
Okay.
With Veho, routes are posted the night before. You know what route you're signing up. You decide where you want to work. You decide whether the price, matches your needs or not. You can sit and wait. Price may go up, and then you'll make more money. You're not driving a passenger in the car. It's typically day hours. So if you're a stay-home parent or you need to, you pick up your kids from school, you'll probably still be able to go and pick up your kids from school because you signed up for a route earlier in the day. There are many reasons why this is a better product for the driver, right? And because it's a better product for the driver, one of the things that we see is that many of those drivers come back and want to drive this again and again and again. We cannot guarantee that they get routes every day, but there's a tendency to see themselves as affiliated with our brand. Some of them will actually go and put the Veho shirt or a Veho logo. That's completely up to them. They are independent contractors, but you can see themselves part of
the larger organization and the
exactly. And that gives you a sense that they see us differently than they see other platforms.
Got it. And basically what you're saying is that the technology has enabled you to make life flexible for them in multiple ways. And that flexibility is what is required in this economy as well for them to feel like they're part of the industry and they can work full-time over here as well.
Flexibility is important, but flexibility without consistency does not work. If I want to have a gig and drive every now and then, but I don't know how much money I'll be making, I can't make ends meet, then this is not going to work for me. I got to feed my family. So what Veho does is we provide the consistency. You know exactly how much you'll be making. You have a lot more control over how you make the money, where you drive, than I think in any other platform. And that sort of like seals the deal for them.
Got it. I would like to shift gears a little bit and talk about a couple of products that Veho offers. FlexSave, which is recently launched, is one of the prime products. I think no one is offering that kind of service right now, which is you have a flexible window that allows brands or customers to kind of make sure that they can purchase on the cheapest available day. That saves money. I think I can compare it to Google Flights, where it kind of makes your flight flexible. Are you flexible or are you fixed on the dates? So flexible, it gives you cheaper options on like plus minus 1-2 days. How are you seeing the reaction to FlexSave? What are some of the other benefits of products like this, and how are brands using this and perceiving this?
I love the analogy to Google Flights. I saw that. I think you posted it on LinkedIn as well, and I saw that as well. It's a great analogy, right? Essentially, what FlexSave does is it says, well, some brands or some products, they really want a day shortened delivery. So if you ship on Saturday, and you promise 2-day shipping on your checkout page, it is really important to live up to the brand promise to bring it by Monday. In other cases, for other brands, actually saving money on shipping is far more important. And so they are willing to flex and open the delivery window a little bit. And when they do that, that gives us more time to make optimization in the warehouses. We have a technology platform. It's AI. It's called Maestro AI. It's trademarks. Orchestration platform that allows us to make optimizations in real time, drive up utilization, drive down our costs, pass on the savings to some of the shippers. So, we just launched this last week. We're seeing a lot of demand, a lot of people, a lot of interest from a lot of brands. What's generally happening in the market, a very strong tailwind, is that every year, January 1st, the legacy national players will post annual GRI increases. Typically 5.9% of the year. Postal service last year also increases by more than 10% of the year. So if you're an e-commerce company, you are put between a hammer and a hard place. You have to pay more and more to your shipping providers, while your customers is more and more expecting free shipping. So there are categories where this is so vital, right? To be able to provide free shipping, and the margin may not be very high, that those companies really need a better solution. FlexSave gives them that solution. It's a great customer experience. It's fast delivery for the most part, but that flexibility allows them to save money. By the way, from the customer standpoint, it's still a great customer experience. Customers can interact with the customer support in real time, leave instructions, upload a photo of where you want the package to be delivered, talk to live customer support if there are any issues and troubleshooting, etc. It's a great customer experience. It just may be a little bit slower in a way that allows the brands to offer free shipping. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And you touched a little bit about this, where customers are able to customize their delivery options. How does it really work? Because Veho is a carrier partner and brand owns how they communicate with the customer. So at the end of the day, if, let's say I'm buying something from Lululemon, Lululemon is showing me the delivery date. I have already provided my delivery address. Where is the customer going and updating? Is it the brand own page or brand transfer to your website where they can go and update the information?
When you buy online, some brands will offer you to leave instructions on the checkout page. Amazon does it, some brands as well. Those instructions then get handed over to us through an API. So our driver partners, when they show up at the address, they see on the app all these instructions. But let's say the brand doesn't give you that option, then you can have the conversation directly with Veho. In case we send text messages, you can reply to those messages and say, so a message would say, hello, from Veho, we're delivering your certain brand's package. It will arrive tomorrow between this time and that time. You can actually reply and say, am I going to be home? Or I need you to leave it in the back door because otherwise somebody will steal it. And you're going to have a live conversation. You know, a lot of it is automated these days with AI, but there are edge cases where you have a human being jumping on a call to have that conversation. If you can't get it delivered because you're out of town, you're concerned that somebody may take it from your doorstep, porch piracy, you can tell us, we're going to hold this another day, get it out the following day. Now, the idea over time is not only to slow down the delivery if you want us to hold it, but also speed up. Let's say the brand that we work with buys FlexSave. And let's say that, you get a notification, it says, today it's Saturday, we'll deliver it by Wednesday.
Okay.
You can then say, well, I know I got free shipping from the brand, but I actually want it faster. I'm going to a wedding, I want to wear that dress. I ran out of stocks, whatever that is. The idea is that you'll be able to then upgrade yourself and get it delivered faster over time, right? So that is the kind of control we're talking about. It's not just communicating, it's also deciding when and how it will be delivered.
And I think that is a fantastic lever for the business as well, because now you have a direct relationship with the customer, not just the brand. And at some point in time, that relationship allows you to understand the behavior of the customer as well. Like Nikhil always prefers deliveries on Wednesdays. So if Nikhil is buying on any of the brands, that gives you the power to kind of make suggestions. Is that something that you think would happen, or Veho would like to pursue that opportunity?
It is true that the data can be used in many ways. One thing to consider is that this is not our customer. It is our client's customer.
Yes.
And so the first thing and the most important thing in our mind is, how do we protect the data for them? And how do we make sure that we don't use the data in a way that allows us to benefit other brands unless we have an agreement about this, right? And so this is probably the most important thing. But you are correct. When a customer gives us instructions, right, as an example, they don't want to give us the instructions 7 different times for 7 different brands. So if we get the approval of the brand, we're able to then associate those instructions with the address, never with the person, with an address. And then basically drivers can follow those instructions for the next brand. And it makes the system better and better.
Yeah.
For everybody, right? It's like a network effect. Because when you join Veho as a brand, you're able to enjoy some of the benefits of having had those interactions. But again, I want to caveat everything. All that is subject to agreement and privacy laws that we hold ourselves very, very accountable to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coming to the second product, I think you already touched on it, Maestro AI, which is the great platform that has been built, which is optimization, as you said, is an optimization engine. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that works? How are you using prioritization? How are you deciding what goes on Monday, what goes on Wednesday? Is it volume-based? Is it price-based decisions? How are you making those decisions?
Well, Maestro AI essentially allows us to, as we scan millions of packages into our network, it makes split-second decisions about how to optimize those packages. Think about it. We have multiple data points about how we get packages. We get the data from manifests from the API of our clients, but we also have the physical world data where packages flow through our network and we scan those packages. What Maestro does essentially, it compares what we expect to get in the manifest versus the real-time data.
Okay.
And then there's usually never 100%. There's never 100% overlap.
Yes.
There's always packages we expected to receive and we did not receive. There are packages that we, did not expect, but we did receive. And so Maestro takes all that into account. And in real time, based on the priority of the package, allows us to orchestrate the platform. So let's say, we are selling to a certain brand, Drop Plus, 2-day delivery from, say, New Jersey to Miami, right? Drop Plus is a fast ground product. That means that those packages are always going to be prioritized in the warehouses. But let's say another brand is FlexSave. So Maestro takes into account the fact that it's FlexSave, and then allows the warehouse employees or workers to say, okay, this package should get on the truck to maximize utilization, or should we set it aside because we technically have 2 more days to deliver, we don't have to do it right now. And it does it constantly in real time. So you can see how when you have more and more data, you're able to maximize utilization without degrading the quality of on-time delivery, because it's the most important packages always get pushed out first, if you will.
Great. No, thank you. I think that makes sense. And I think we definitely need tools like Maestro AI, which can on real time decide how to optimize, how to make sure that you have economies of scale and you're able to make cost savings from that. Just to wrap it up, what is one advice that you would like to give to a younger yourself or to budding founders who are looking to break into supply chain specifically, not in any other space, but supply chain? What advice would you give to those founders?
Wow, I can give a lot of advice. But look, I mean, when I joined this industry, it was 10 years ago, I did not know anything about supply chain. And I was willing to challenge myself to go into a space that I did not know about and learn everything from scratch. I had my own convictions about what needs to be built. I had a conviction, which I still hold today. The customer experience is the most important thing. But there are a lot of things that I didn't know along the way. And the advice I would give myself, and I would give anybody else, is you have to be open to ask a lot of questions and challenge yourself all the time. The things that we think we know, they change. Sometimes we learn new things.
Yeah.
If you have a very clear picture and you just follow this picture and you're not willing to be challenged about that picture, you may be missing a lot of big things along the way. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of amazing advisors and people who've contributed their knowledge and experience to make Veho a better company all the time. I think it makes us unique because we constantly learn and adapt and change, as opposed to being very rigid in our own ways. I think that flexibility when you go into supply chain that is changing so fast and it's so complex, it's probably one of the most important things you can do. I will say one more thing. Stay the course. Stay the course. It's not, a lot of logistics companies aren't built overnight. It takes time to build a company in this space. And if you have conviction, if you're really passionate about this, keep on doing the thing. It's not going to happen immediately, right? There's going to be ups and downs. As long as you keep on doing this, ultimately, if you have a really good product, the value
People will adopt and then value will be created from that. Now, thank you so much, Itamar. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me today.
Hopefully you had a great manifest. Please enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me today.
Thank you.